Here we are. Okay, experience Zohar, Parsha, Tazria. Let's go through the synopsis. Okay, the synopsis is, although the souls of male and female are supposed to come into this world together, ever since the sin of the first man and woman, this has not been so. They're divided when they emerge from above into this world. If the man does not have enough merit, he never finds his soulmate. And if he marries another woman, his children are impure, the Zohar says. And we're going to go through that, and we're going to try to analyze this and explain this. Rabbi Elazar says that thousands of souls emerge simultaneously into the world, but they are not considered nefashot. They're not considered souls until they settle in the body and receive their illumination from Malchut. This takes 33 days. He talks about the blood of purification and the blood of circumcision. Okay, so let's go through a bit of a background on this. So this week's portion is called Tazria. Tazria means to actually implant, or to zera means a seed, and it talks about actually the birth of a child. And it says over there in this week's portion that a woman spends 33 days after the birth of a child that she is impure. That for 33 days there's this almost like a time that she is not that she can't go back to a state of purity due to the child, to the soul that came down into this world. And afterwards, it talks about circumcision, talks about the blood of circumcision, and it brings together this common theme of blood, right? There's the blood of circumcision, the blood of menstruation, or it's really post-menstruation. It's really like the birth, and so the common themes of the beginning, at least, of the Parsha speaks about that. Afterwards, it goes on and speaks about actually leprosy and the laws of leprosy. So it's a very intense Parsha, and which means that it's a very intense. We probably had a very intense week. So let's have a look over here at the beginning of the Zohar. Come and see. Right? Ta'chazi, come and see. Every spirit in the world incorporates male and female. Okay, so that's a very powerful statement. That the truth is that we are one with our soulmates before we even came down to this world. There's this unity that was there at the beginning of creation. However, when they emerge into this world, they come out as male and female, and then divide according to their custom. So the male comes down and the female comes down. It says in the tractate, in the Talmud, it says that the bringing together of two souls is almost like the division of Yam Suf, of the Red Sea, because for the two souls to reunite and is as difficult as the splitting of the Red Sea. What's the comparison to that? So the comparison is that just like the Red Sea, for it to split means it defies nature, so too two souls coming together defies nature. How is it possible that a soul that is on this side of the world should meet up with its counterpart on the other side of the world sometimes? Or it could even be the same block in the same street, but it is really a miracle that defies nature. So that's what the Talmud tells us in Tractate Ta'anit. Now, it says that they come together as male and female, and then divide according to their custom. The spirit of the male is clothed in a male, and the spirit of the female in a female. Afterwards, if a man has merit, they join, he and his mate, and mate in union in every sense, in spirit and bodily. As it's written, let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind. What is after their kind? It is the spirit of the man that comes out with its mate that resembles it. Okay, so the word is In Hebrew, the verse is Totzeh Aretz Nefesh Chaya Lemina, that it should bear fruit, it should bear life in its similarity, in its kind. So how could it be in its kind? It means that once the male and the female join as one spiritually and also physically, then they're able to give life and actually resemble the divine. Now he asks, what is the earth in the verse? Let the earth bring forth. It says, let the earth bring forth. It doesn't necessarily say that let man bring forth. It says that the earth, it resembles the words and curiously wrought the lowest parts of the earth. And that's a verse in Tehillim and in Psalms that it says that King David he talks about himself. He says, I was brought together and I was composed almost from the depths of the earth. That's what King David says about his birth. So the Zohar asks, what does that mean, to giving birth from the depths of the earth and let the earth bring forth man, right? And it says about man, at the beginning of Genesis, it said, where did man come from? He came from earth. What does it mean he came from earth? Okay, so what is earth? So Kabbalistically, earth is the sphera, the emanation of Malchut. Earth is Malchut, is kingship. Now, why is earth kingship? So we know we have these 7 sphirot. I'm sorry, I don't have them up over here, but we have the 7 sphirot. And the lowest one is the sphera of Malchut, of kingship. Okay, that is the sphere of Malchut. This has been explained. Let the earth bring forth. What does it mean, let the earth bring forth? As we explained it, to refer to the spirit of man, who emerged and was born to Malchut called earth. So Malchut is actually the womb, in a sense, of creation. And we mentioned this in a previous class, that there's actually 2 wombs. There's the womb of Bina. Bina is understanding or intuition. And then there's the womb of Malchut, which gives birth. And both of them are associated with a female. And why are they associated with the female? Because Bina has to do with intuition, with understanding, as opposed to just straight out intelligence. And Bina builds up the knowledge which we have within us. And Malchut is kingship. Malchut actually brings forth everything, all the sphirot that are above it. And that's what kingship is. So kingship is the giving forth of life into the world. So that's what the Zohar says. That what does it mean that let man come forth from the earth? Let the earth bring it forth, and that's what King David says, that the earth brought me forth because where was man created from? From which element? It came down through the element, the emanation, I should say, the emanation of Malchut. And King David, of course, is most associated with kingship. That's why he's called the king. King David, he's the eternal king of Israel. He's called King David because what is his dimension? It's called he's the leg of Malchut. He's the leg that holds up the table. It says that the table, obviously the table needs 4 legs, and we have we have Isaac, we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then the 4th leg is Malchut, because Abraham represents chesed, kindness, Isaac represents sternness and severity, and Jacob represents harmony. And then the 4th leg, that's Malchut, that's kingship, that's King David. So he holds up the so to speak, the chariot. So he's compared to Malchut. This is the meaning of the words. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden. The fruit of the tree refers to the Holy One, blessed He, namely Ze'er Anpin. So Ze'er, this is a concept which we had in the Zohar already, that we talked about. What does it mean that there was that fruit tree in the center of the garden? What does it mean that the garden had a center to it? We're talking about paradise. How could it be a center of the garden? And what's the tree doing there? So it's explained that the tree represents, the tree represents the Ze'er Anpin, represents the the small face, which is called the 6 emanations, starting from Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. The Yesod is bonding, and then it's in the garden, and in the garden refers to the female attribute, refers to Malchut. So there's the tree, and the tree is within the earth. And of course, when we take the comparison of a tree, so it's the most wondrous thing, really, that we just take for granted each and every day, that there's trees and there's things that grow, because it's a complete miracle that we call nature, that we could take a seed and put it in the ground, and that will produce a tree which gives forth fruit. It's an amazing thing. So the earth itself has the ability to bear fruit, to give life. It's sustaining. And when we talk when we talk about the tree that's within the earth, so it refers to, what is the tree? The tree refers to the 6 sefirot, the 6 emanations. Within the earth is the sefira of Malchut, which gives life. And this is the meaning: if a woman has conceived a seed and born a man, it says that if the woman conceived the seed first, so it says then she will bear a boy, a male child, and the woman. So what does that mean over there, right? So the woman, it says if the male conceives the seed, then first, and then it says that they will have a daughter, a girl, and if the woman conceives first, then they'll have a man. So the woman refers to. So of course we need to understand this on the spiritual dimension. What does it mean if a woman conceives the seed first? It refers to Malchut, bears the souls. So if Malchut, in other words, Malchut has the ability to affect the sefirot with its life force, it means that it bears the fruit. It is also written, and born a man child. What does that mean, a man child? Not included of male and female, as the custom of the world. So we're going to explain that in a second. That the souls are born male and female. For the lower beings, by their sins, caused Malchut, that the souls will not join male with female, as they come out from above as couples, male and female. Hence it is written, and born a man child, since in this world only a male, not including a female, appears. Okay, so what are we saying over here? We're saying that something occurred. It says that something occurred at the beginning of creation already, that there was the sin of Adam, the sin of Adam and Eve. So what is the sin of Adam and Eve? It caused the earth to be corrupted. That's what it says. It says the earth wasn't as fruitful as it was earlier. And it means that the fruit of that earth, and in this situation we're talking about the fruit of Malchut, can't purely give forth the fruit that it wants to potentially give, and that is ultimately, when we're talking about the fruit, that's the souls. And when the souls over here are the souls of male and female, and because of the sin, the original sin of Adam and Eve, so that caused souls to come down separately. Because remember, Adam actually was born with two faces. So he was brought from the earth, and then the woman was conceived, and then Eve was conceived from behind him, and they were one character. So that was true up until that point. But ever since then, souls have been separated, and that's kind of like the correction of the sin of Adam and Eve is actually the building of a new home, building of a new house that will actually fix the original sin, the primordial sin of Adam and Eve. Which takes us, actually, before we go any further, we know that what is the greatest joy one of the greatest joys that we could attend, that's the joy of a wedding. So joy of a wedding, a simcha of a wedding, is so powerful. Why is the simcha of a wedding so powerful? So we said simcha of a wedding is actually a building, a building of the temple. It's almost building of a new world. That's what a Jewish wedding is really all about. And how many blessings do we say by a Jewish wedding? So we say 7 blessings by a Jewish wedding, and we call it the Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings. And the 7 blessings, each of them has to do with the creation. First of all, it's the creation of the male and the female, and it goes back to Adam and Eve. Goes back to Adam and Eve, and then it goes back to the last blessing. The last blessing is the most powerful blessing. What's the last blessing? That in the future, let us hear the sound of joy and the sound of joy and happiness. And there's 7 types of happiness that are listed over there. And at the end is the ultimate level of the fixing of the world. So, a Jewish wedding is so inspiring because that is actually a Adam and Eve coming back together and kind of like and being whole and and fixing the original sin of Adam and Eve. So now there's a miniature Adam and Eve that have been put together by a miracle. And just one more point before we go forward. That when the kala, the bride, walks down to the chuppah, to the canopy, the wedding canopy, what does she do? She surrounds the male. Now, what does that mean that she surrounds the male? She goes around him. How many times does she go around him? Misaviv lachatan. She goes around him 7 times. They don't just stand up there and say, will you marry her? Yes, I do, right? What do we do? 7 times. The female goes around 7 times. And the 7th time represents the 7 levels of ascending back up from that malchut now ascends and goes up. But then it's actually surrounding the groom. And the groom represents the Ze'er Anpin, represents the emanations from Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, all the way to Yesod. But now the female is in fact higher than the male, because Malchut actually now is fixed. And when Malchut is fixed, then it gives life even to the emanations which seem like it's higher than it. Which, it's a huge misconception that people have in Judaism and in Torah that people say, females are perhaps not treated to the highest respect in Judaism, and that is the most false thing possible, because in fact, like we just mentioned, females have a higher power than males. And the revelation of the female attribute is actually the revelation of the messianic attribute. It's a revelation of the ultimate life and the fixing of creation, which was blemished by the original sin. So the female attribute, the attribute of malchut is the attribute of the ultimate fixing of creation. 7, right, but then... Yeah. Sheva Pamim, but she surrounds the male. And the idea of surrounding is that it's totally a different level. It's not something which is linear. When something which is linear, it's limited. When something that's a circle is unlimited.
I feel that I'm lucky.
Oh, I'm sorry?
אני מרגישה שאני ברת מזל.
Yeah.
Because the day that I'm born is 7 in July. The 7/7.
Wow.
So maybe lucky.
Absolutely. That's our luck that you're here with us. So, in a sense, every week. So since the first man and his mate Eve, Chava, had sinned against Hashem, against the Holy One, blessed be He, male and female are therefore divided when they emerge from above into this world. The soul of male is born on its own, and the soul of female on its own, until it will please the Holy One, blessed be He, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem, if man gains merit to give him his soulmate. So it's not just, you just meet somebody and that's it, but you have to have the merit to meet them again. That is the soul of the female that was incorporated in him above. So it's not a simple thing to be able to, to have that. And it's, in fact, there's certain days of the year that we're not supposed to get married on. For example, during the month of Av, they're negative. It's called a negative month, and you're not supposed to really, make so many joyous occasions on it. But you are allowed to make an engagement on the month of Av. Why? Because an engagement is so powerful that if you don't make the engagement right now, somebody else might pray for. It says might pray for that mate, and you'll lose it. So praying for your correct mate, for your true soulmate, is so powerful that allows us to have that mate. So it's the merit that we have. So otherwise, she is separated from him and given to another, and then they beget improper children. Then they have children that they're really not supposed to have, because it's really not the proper soulmate, right? Hence it is written, my spirit shall not always strive on account of man. And again, my spirit shall not always strive on account of man. Why does it say my spirit? Ruchi lo yadun ba'adam. That's what the pasuk says. Where God says, now I feel bad that I created man. Ruchi lo yadun ba'adam. My spirit shall not strive on account of man. So why does it say my spirit? It should have said his spirit of man. For there are two spirits emerging in two sums, right? Why does it say my spirit shall not always strive on account of man? Why does it say my spirit? It should have said his spirit, God of man. So why does it say my spirit? For our two spirits emerging in two sums. It should have rather be pronounced spirits. Ruchotai le'adum ba'adam. My spirits, because it's talking about male and female. The verse says they must not be striving or put together after together, because striven after together, because they come out separately. So therefore it doesn't say my spirits, it says my spirit in man and female, because each one is actually considered a separate being. It is therefore written, and born a man-child, and not man and woman together. It says a man-child, according to the ways of the world above, because of his deed.
I didn't understand something.
Yes.
It's a many spirit. It's a more than one spirit.
Right. So it's really two spirits that are one. That's the soulmate, the concept of the soulmate. That they're two spirits, but they're really one. They were one up above. Mm-hmm. They separated into two. Mm-hmm. Now, I just want to interject with a short story of his name was Rabbi Shlomo. He was a rabbi that his name was Rabbi Shlomo. I'm forgetting his last name. Auerbach. Yes, Rabbi Shlomo Auerbach was one of the great rabbis living in Jerusalem. About 20 years ago, he passed away. And there's a story that he took his wife to the doctor. her foot was hurting her or something. So they walk into the doctor, and he said, "Doctor, I want to tell you, our foot is hurting us." And the doctor said, "Well, what do you mean our foot? Whose foot is it? I thought you made the appointment for her." He says, "Our foot is hurting us." That's how the rabbi felt the pain of his wife. It wasn't her pain. It wasn't her foot. It was his foot as well. Because he felt that unity. He felt that oneness, that connection from before their souls were divided. Okay, so let's continue over here. This next paragraph on page 3. Rabbi Elazar said that it is not so that born a man-child means he is born from Malchut into this world as a man without a woman. For male and female always come joined together. Rabbi Elazar disagrees with what we said so far. So what we said so far is one opinion in the Zohar. Rabbi Elazar says, no, we come down male and female and then divided and come as man alone and woman alone. Now what's the difference? The difference is, when was that division? The division right as soon as it comes down to this world. That's what Rabbi Elazar says. But as it comes down to this world, they're one. But when they come down to this world, practically, they can't come down in the same body. They come down in separate bodies, but they're one spirit in the same world. Or are they two spirits in the same world, which is what we said so far, and they were divided up on high before they came down to the world. I just want to say one thing, that also what's the idea of the bride wearing the veil? So it's a custom that in all weddings you see the bride wears the veil, even if the veil is completely hollow, you see what's the concept of a veil? Why does the bride have to wear a veil? So it's explained in the inner teachings over here, in Hasidic teachings. It's explained that we need to put a veil on the female when we get married at that point, because we realize that person is not just another person, that she is actually the one that was with me before the creation occurs. And it's something which I can't even see with my physical eyes. Because if I see just my physical, I would see a body and I see separation. So the veil refers to, there's this level of unity that goes beyond even what I could see, which is similar to actually when we say the Shema. What do we do when we say the Shema? We put our hands over our eyes. And we say Shema Yisrael. Why do we have to put our hands over our eyes?
To concentrate.
I'm sorry?
To concentrate. To don't, not to see the physical word and just concentrate in the bracha, in the connection to God.
Exactly, right. So the idea is exactly that if I open up my eyes, I see finite. And when I say that God is one, I make that unity, I make that connection on a much more sublime level, much deeper level, more than just seeing him on what's in front of me, the more of the tangible world. It's the intangible. The tangible and the intangible are all one. It's a unity. So for that, I need to cover my eyes. So it's like that also with the Kala. We cover her with that veil to realize that unity actually goes beyond what I could see with my eyes. So there's so many beautiful customs in a wedding that really, when we understand this concept more in the Zohar, it brings back, this point, of really the joining of male and female is the joining of Adam and Eve and the fixing of Adam and Eve. So then the left side, so let's continue. But if she bears a female child, so that's what the verse continues, means they are included together as female and male from left side, which is considered female. Then the left side has more power over the right side. And the male on the right is subdued and has no power. So it says if the female is more powerful, then it refers to that almost like the left outshining the right. So let's understand that the male that comes from the nukva malchut, from her left, always acts like a female and is therefore considered a female. Now we know that there are certain souls that come down to this world that are not necessarily, that are even though they're male, they could be more of a feminine. And I'm not talking necessarily about the concept of gay or anything like that, but I'm saying the concept of more of being connected to the female attribute. So it could be more of a female attribute within a male, and that could be somebody who's extremely artistic, extremely creative, extremely sensitive. You could have that kind of a male, and you could have the opposite also by a female. You could have a female that is almost like a male, that is more dominant, that is more cerebral, that maybe doesn't have as much compassion, let's say, as a female, and so those attributes could change. But a male coming from the right side of Malchut has the power, and the female that emerges within him is subdued, since the left side has no power. Hence it is written, and born a male child. Okay, so that's the next paragraph. Thousands and myriads of souls emerge simultaneously into the world. Now, this is something that the Arizal said, that we don't see this, but there are souls that come down to this world. And now, how are they formed? So souls are formed from intentions, and they're formed because they're being sent down from the world from the bank of souls into this world. And when we talk about souls, it's not just what we think of souls. It could be there's many types of souls. Right, there's souls within, the Arizal says, within stones, and within trees, and within flowers. Yeah. Everything has a soul within it.
That's a soul. Mm-hmm.
And really the spirituality behind the physicality is the soul behind it. So when we talk about souls coming down to this world, they constantly come. There's souls that come down into this world, and it says actually when a couple is together, it says they actually, even if no souls are born from there, the child is not born, but there are souls which are spiritual souls which are created up above by that union. And that's why, I mean, the whole idea of sanctity and the idea of the intention and everything like that it actually makes a difference on the souls that are born, that are brought down into this world. And of course, everything that's done with the purity, menstrual purity, and everything like that. So those souls come down to this world. And from the time she brought them forth, they are not considered nefashot. So they're not considered souls yet. It says until they receive their illumination from Malchut, until they settle in the body. So before they go into the body, they're souls, but they're not really considered nefashot. They're not really considered, a life force soul. It's a soul which is beyond us. But when is it a life force soul? When it goes into the body. This takes 33 days. As written, 33 days. Until then, the body is incomplete for the nefesh to settle on and be clothed in it. So it takes 33 days. It says that once the female, right, the woman goes through 33 days of a cleansing process, that at the end of 33 days, then that child has within him, right, or her, right? Her is actually more than 33 days. Yeah. because actually, again, the female is the idea of giving forth life. So the female, actually, the life force of a female is even more complex than the life force of a male. So that's actually 66 days.
Wow.
But the cleansing of a woman before she could go to the mikvah, to the ritual bathhouse, and then bring a korban, give her a special sacrifice in the temple, it took 33 days. And then after she shall be unclean, it says afterwards for 7 days. Namely, what does that refer to? Namely, the nefesh. For throughout those 7 days, no spirits enter her, malchut, to be connected with her. And all those 7 days, the spirit roams the body to find its place, to settle in it. So afterwards, there's a settling down process that the soul then actually is connected to the body. Then it is written, it shall be 7 days under its mother. That's what it says. It should be 7 days under its mother. And what are the 7 days under the mother? That refers to Malchut, and he is underneath her and cannot connect with her. So something is happening with it. There's the child and there's the baby, but it's a newborn child. And we know that for the soul to come down into a body, there's generally speaking 3 phases. But over here we're learning of a 4th phase. What are generally speaking the 3 phases? First phase is, for a boy, for a male, it's the Brit Milah. So when there's the Brit Milah is on which day? The 8th day. So the 8th day, the name is given and the circumcise is performed, then the soul comes down into the body. Now what about a female? What about a woman? That occurs once the woman has been given a name. So the name has within it its life force. So for a woman, it could be before 8 days. It could be like right away. If it's that day, it could be the same day. If the name is given on that same day, and actually it's more powerful when we go to the Torah, and then we go to the Torah, and then the name is actually called down from the Torah, then the life force emerges within. Then for the male, there's the bar mitzvah. There's 13. And 13 is then the time that there's a maturity of the soul. And for a woman, that's the age of 12. That's the bat mitzvah. And there's a maturity of the soul. And then the 3rd stage, does anybody know what the 3rd stage is? 3rd stage is age 20. Age 20. Slim. At the age of 20, there's almost a final descent. That's like graduating the teenage years. That's if you graduate the teenage years, you're okay, in peace. So the idea of 20 is so 13 is when you become obligated in doing all the mitzvot, and if you did something wrong, you are actually accountable for it from the age 13 or the age 12. Now, but you're still not accountable in the Beit Din of the court of heaven, so to speak. You'd be accountable down here in this world in a court. But up above, you're not accountable until age 20. So by age 20 is actually an age of sophistication. The age of 20 is actually associated with bina, of understanding. So you reach a certain maturity by age 20. Because age 16, age 15, you're not thinking rationally. You're not doing things rationally. You take your mother's car and drive places that they don't give you permission to. You did that? Yeah. Sounds familiar. Throw a party in the house when the parents were away.
Start to life.
Right. So they're not thinking rationally. Age 20, maybe something starts settling. You start thinking about future, career, college, whatever it is, taking the steps forward. So those are the 3 stages. Over here we learn of a 4th stage, which is actually in between the number 8 and the number 13. And that is 33 days. After 33 days, there's a settling of the soul. There's a settling of the soul after 33 days. Now, I just want to make a reference that we're sitting, who is behind me over here behind this window? It's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Meron, buried in Meron. Which day is the greatest celebration in Meron? It's on Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer is the anniversary of his death. The anniversary is called the Hilulav of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So what's Lag in Gematria, in numerology? Lag is 33. 33 is the numerology of Lag BaOmer. And it's explained that what's the concept of 33? Where do you see the reference to 33? And what does that have to do with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? So there's a reference made right over here to this concept that we're learning over here. That for the
What's the meaning?
Lamed Gimel. 33, 30, Lamed 30.
כן, לא, אבל מה המשמעות של ה-30?
Shalosh of the Omer. So 33 day of the Omer. Then 33 day that we count the Omer starting from the second day of Passover up until all the way till Shavuot. We have 49 days, but the 33rd day is when the students of Rabbi Akiva stop dying. And from then on, we actually celebrate. So for 33 days, we're sort of like in a bit of a serious stage from Passover up until Lag BaOmer is an intense time. But after 33, exactly, after 33, we start celebrating, and now it's good times again. But up until 33, it's very intense.
Just a question.
I'm sorry?
Just a question concerning this.
Oh, go ahead.
The students stop dying because of the dying of Shimon Bar Yochai, or what? I mean,
it didn't happen in the same time. Right? There's two things that went on. One, the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai came after the students. He's part of the new students, so they stopped dying on the 33rd day. And that's also the day, years later, that he actually passed away on. So we're commemorating, so they say the concept of 33 echoes and is similar in the fact that they stopped dying, and it's associated with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the idea of 33. So part of that, of understanding what 33 is that it takes 33 days for a woman to be purified after giving birth to a male child. And after 33 days, like we're just learning over here, is when the soul of the child now actually settles in. So for us, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did this for us in the world. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, up until the time of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the world was unsettled. But after the advent of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the Zohar, the inner secrets of the Torah, really, he brought that down to the world, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And he actually almost, settled, gave us life and allowed us to settle right over here in this world. And so until then, there's this quasi state. Okay, namely the nefesh, for throughout those 7 days, no spirits enter her to settle. Then it is written, it shall be 7 days under its mother, which is Malchut, and he is underneath her and cannot concentrate with her. Okay, so on the 8th day, so now what happens on the 8th day? So we that's the Brit Milah. On the 8th day, the spirit and the body reappear before the queen and connect with her, with the male, Zer Anpin, in body and soul. So now we're talking about actually, we're talking about the Brit Milah. So what happens during the Brit Milah? The Brit Milah is, and she shall continue in the blood of her purification for 33 days. So within the time of the Brit Milah, she's still continuing this process of purification. She's within the 33 days. And in order for the spirit to settle in the body, he asks, what is the purpose of the 3 days? He is Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, asked, what is the purpose of the 3 days? Okay, because it says after 3 days, that's when she is completely pure. And says, these are the 3 days after circumcision when the child suffers its pain. So when does the pain really happen? When does it really occur? It occurs after the circumcision, specifically on the third day. And we know that on the third day, that is when the 2 tribes of Shimon and Levi decided to go out and to annihilate the town of Shechem. They told them they have to circumcise, and they waited for the third day. So for 3 days, there's a certain pain. It says these are the 3 days after circumcision when the child suffers its pain, and the spirit does not dwell in the body as in other days. So after the circumcision, there's so the soul comes down into the body during the circumcision, but it's unsettled because it feels the pain of the body. So the body's kind of like rejecting the soul. There's this pain that doesn't allow the soul to truly settle. And so it says, and she shall continue in the blood of her purification for 33 days. So after the purification after the blood of the circumcision, that takes us to the blood of purification of the 33 days. And Rabbi Lazar asks, at first, the verse says, in the blood of her purification. And later, it says, in the blood of her purifying. And he answers that the blood of her purifying refers to the bloods of circumcision, blood, and more blood coming from the child. The Holy One, blessed be He, keeps those bloods all these days, which is like a tremendous thing. The blood of circumcision says that those bloods, it says, in the blood of her purifying. What does it mean in the blood of her purifying? Meaning that it almost continues. And says that those blood, that God actually keeps that as a tremendous merit to actually all of Israel is the blood of the Brit Milah, and it's a tremendous merit to be involved in a Brit Milah. So hence it says, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying. The word tahara, blood, purification. Unspecified is written with Adam in a certain conjugation, so it is not pronounced when read. Tahara. So it just says tahara, and without the hey at the end could also be could be pronounced, but it's not pronounced. This indicates that the last hey of Yud K Vav K, which is Malchut, is not mentioned. So you shall not say it refers to the purifying matron, Malchut, of the mother of the soul, but to the purifying in general. Okay, so are there any... let's finish this off and put this together, because this is a bit complex. At the end over here, we jumped into a bit of a very complex subject, but I want to bring this down in a level that relates to us in a second. Let's finish over here, page 5. She shall touch no impure thing, nor come into the sanctuary. So it says, come and see the congregation of Israel, who are called the Malchut, who are called the children of kings, right, and queens, where Malchut daily takes food from the king's house. Where do we get our food? Where we get our sustenance? Daily we get it from the king's house, and nourishes them in holiness, except those spirits during the 33 days of purifying. So for some reason, these 33 days are days that there's almost like this sense of blockage because of a lack of purification. And until those spirits settle in the body after 33 days, she cares for them daily, since the spirits are then connected to the body like the rest of the inhabitants of the world. And she, Malchut, dwells only on a wholesome place. which is a full place. So Malchut could only come down in a true way until they are whole. This is the meaning, she shall touch no impure thing, which means for the purpose of taking care of souls, that means she does not touch holiness to receive food from holiness, which is Zeir Anpin for those spirits. Okay. So the Zohar, it could definitely be up there and high. And we're talking over here on, understanding this concept of the woman, understanding the concept of the spirit settling within the woman. Okay, so now how does this relate? How does this relate to us? So we know that, I mentioned this at the beginning, that it's the greatest miracle for us to be joined by our soulmates. Now, the Talmud says something incredible. The Talmud says that what does God do a third of the day? Whatever that means. God, I don't think, has a day. There's no day, right? We're talking about it's all a mashal, it's all a parable. But God takes, if we take a third of the day, what does God do? It says He makes matches. He makes matches a third of the day. That's a lot of matchmaking, that God does. So, and a third of the day, it says He plays with the other third, He plays with the Leviathan, and the last third of the day, I forgot what that was. But a third of the day spending on matchmaking, that's a lot of time. So it could show us the importance of what matchmaking is. That's one way of looking at it. But I think the deeper way of looking at it is understanding what is matchmaking is not necessarily just male and female, but it's also meeting who we are meant to meet and doing what we're meant to be doing. That is a form of matchmaking that God does. And the Talmud says that the fact that a person reaches into his pocket and takes out 2 coins, he wanted to take out this coin, but he got the other coin, that's also preordained. That's also Hashgacha Pratit. It's meant to be that way. So everything in creation, everybody that we meet, everything that we experience, and is all actually a merging of a form of a kind of a soulmate, something that we're actually meant to partake in, or in some cases stay away from, in certain cases, and realize that this is my life mission. So our marriage is obviously a marriage on a spiritual level and a physical level, with finding our soulmate. But besides that, also understanding that before we were created, God knew exactly what would happen. That doesn't take away the fact that we still have free choice. And the free choice doesn't take away from the fact that we meet who we need to meet and we do what we need to do, that things occur. It's not a contradiction to free choice, but free choice is a form of marriage. So the realization of this is already half, taking us already half of the way there. Now, at the end of the day, what are we meant to? Why do we go through this journey? We are going through a journey in life. Why? In order to fix the sin of Adam. So essentially, everything that we meet, everybody that we meet, and everything that we do is really a fixing of the fix of the sin of Adam. And we know that on Shabbat there's 39 things that we're not supposed to do. Right? Why 39? Because 39 are the proactive works that are considered work. What were the 39? They're called melachot, 39 works. right? So we could go through them. But the 39, where do they stem from? They stem from what was done in the temple. In the temple, they did 39 types of work. That means that our mundane, our life is also composite of 39 works, which means that really our life is about whatever work that we do is essentially revealing the temple. Because what is work? Work is associated with the temple. So whatever we do, whatever proactive work we do, actually is something which is associated with the temple. And the temple, the tabernacle and the temple is all really a fixing of Adam. That they're prohibited to do on Shabbat. Those come from the temple. And on the temple, they didn't do 39. They did 39 melachot. So it says on Shabbat you shouldn't do what they did in the temple. So we associate work with proactive, spiritual, holy work. So really everything that we do is really associated with building up something with an inner purpose, with an inner cause. And it's true because that whatever's in creation was all created for God's purpose. So, and what's the perfect example of that? What we're doing now online, right? And physically sitting here, but online is incredible because why did God create this unbelievable computer with billions of microchips, synapses coming together and this this camera and everything like that and going through the waves in order to reveal godliness. So all inventions and all proactive work is all just putting us together with our intent, with our purpose. And that's a form of marriage. And that's a form of bringing the soul of Adam and Eve together, which essentially is the fixing of all of creation. So I'd like to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. And this Shabbat is a very powerful Shabbat because it's Shabbat of the new month, where we read about the new month of Nisan.
Oh, yeah.
And the new month of Nisan has to do with newness, with actually rebirth. And rebirth, seeing spring around us is seeing that spring is that there was always birth there. There was always life there. It's just we didn't see it. It was winter time. But now on Nisan, we see that there's rebirth. So this weekend has the power to recharge us. So we should really tap into that power, which we all could use recharging, and the entire world could use recharging. So may we see a recharging of all of us on a personal level, and the entire world on a collective level, that it should all be recharged.
Amen.
See the
Amen.
Connecting to the source of all life, and bring down the most beautiful blessings, with only peace and Mashiach in this world.
Amen.
For everybody. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. God
Shabbat
bless.
Shalom.